Hey, welcome into another episode of the Ducks Hockey Postgame Show. I'm your host, Todd Fox, here on the Halos in the Infield Network, along with Dominic from Catella Chronicles. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good. It's been a long night for us. We just finished up the football show for the week, and now popping on over to hockey. Where else would we want to be on Tuesday night? And happy Veterans Day to everybody.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, the Ducks, listen, all good things must come to an end, as your mom or your dad tells you growing up, or you hear from just people around the neighborhood. But the Ducks take the loss tonight in Colorado. Now, I will say this: I don't like moral victories or things like that taken away, but you can say that the fact that the Ducks did play good, and we didn't expect them to win and sweep the home and away, or the away and the home back to back the other night. So that was a great plus. But fact of the matter is, man, they gave it their all tonight. Dominique, what are your opening thoughts on a 4-1 loss to Colorado, who now firmly holds the best record in all the West?
I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world in this case scenario to me. This game reminds me a lot of the Ducks versus Carolina Hurricanes game, the second home game of the season. It was kind of, at first, it doesn't help when the Ducks give up a goal 28 seconds into the game. But again, Colorado is, as we talked about it, a Stanley Cup poised team. They are tough on all fronts: offense, defense, wingers, center, everything, netminders. And tonight, going into the game, it was Dostal, the Ducks' number one goaltender, against the Colorado Avalanche second goaltender in Scott Wedgwood. According to the media, Scott Wedgwood got the first star of the game, allowed just one goal, saved 97.2% of shots tonight against the Ducks. So a good night for Colorado's netminder. For me, I think at the end of the day, this is a measuring stick kind of game for the Anaheim Ducks that needs to get them in the right direction. Again, the winning streak was fantastic, but definitely a game that reminded me a lot of the Carolina loss. Gives up a goal 28 seconds. They battled back late in the first period, so they showed some resilience. Colorado chipped away with one in the second, two in the third, and it just kind of, you saw who the more experienced team in the game was than the Ducks.
Yeah, you saw that shots were 36 apiece. That's an awful lot of shots. So they had their opportunities against the netminder there for the Avalanche. But I felt that in this game, it was a little bit different from games past, because when the Ducks had a rush, they were able to physical their way into the opponent's, scoring zone, pass the blue line, get pretty deep, and set up the play they wanted to, whether it came back to the blue line from shots, ricochets, whatever, nice setups in by the goalie. But in this game, the Avalanche did a really good job of protecting their goalie and keeping, the second chance opportunities for the Ducks at a very minimum. So this is one where, Quinville can look at and say, okay, we couldn't bully our way through this one. So we're going to have to, against these superior teams, work out some better strategies.
And I think, too, we've been playing superior teams, right? Like, we've beaten New Jersey Devils. We've beaten the Pittsburgh Penguins. We've beaten the Winnipeg Jets. We've done damage against teams that are supposedly better than us in ranking, and Vegas within our division. So looking at this game as a whole, you break down the numbers a little bit, and as Andrew says, he's not mad about the game either, just the missed calls in the game. I'll say this. The Ducks, statistically speaking, kept it relatively toe-to-toe against Colorado. They both had 12 shots each in the first period, then 11-7 in favor of Colorado in the second. The Ducks outshot the Avalanche 17-13. They both get 36 shots on goal in this game. And you keep going down the line, face-offs, 51-48% in favor of Colorado. Ducks 0 for 2, as per tradition. They don't get a power play goal here tonight. But they did limit the Avalanche 1 for 4. And that one power play goal coming in the third period. So the Ducks, relatively speaking, did very good tonight. They out-hit the Avalanche. They blocked more shots than they did. They took away the puck 7-6 more. They did have 16 giveaways to the Avalanche 12. So statistically speaking, the Ducks were in this game throughout the night, and that's why I say very reminiscent to the Carolina Hurricane game back in October.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost identical because we were talking about that one too, where we weren't mad that they lost that game either. And
Mhm.
like I said, you have points in 7 straight games, man. You're playing your ass off, and they were due for a loss. But again, they could have lost this one 6-1. I wouldn't have hung my head on this one. So I agree with you there. Andrew brings up another good point here. He said the Killorn play. I don't know if you
Mhm.
saw that one, but he was bleeding out right at center ice. He got nailed with a high stick to the face.
Oh,
Um,
lovely.
yeah, they had to clean up the ice a little bit right there. And they only gave him a 2-minute minor. That was it should have been a 5-minute major, and the refs reviewed it and still gave him a minor. So they
Yeah.
kind of got killed. You kind of figured that if the Ducks may have gotten a couple extra minutes on that power play, maybe they could have generated I think it was 3-1 at that point. But they
Yeah.
could have they could have generated a goal to possibly pull within one. And then because at the end of the game, the Ducks took a chance with about 3.5 to go. They pulled Dostal, and they were trying to get that goal to pull within one. But not bad. Again, a performance that they played about as toe to toe with this team as they possibly could. Could they've cleaned up a few things? Could they've gotten a couple calls here to help out?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm not mad, dude. Just like you, I'm not mad with this loss.
No, and according to Zach Kavanaugh of the Sporting Tribune, who follows the Ducks, if you haven't followed him on social media, you guys should. He posted 30 minutes ago. Killorn takes a stick up high to the face along the boards. Certainly was in distress. Cheek, nose situation. The Ducks got a power play, of course. No penalty on the high stick, so there was not a double minor. Again, anytime there's a sight of blood, the referees do typically err on the side of caution and give that double minor. Ducks don't get it away this time around. And unfortunately, they just, it's one of these games that I think, with the way the Ducks have been playing all season, you're going to have these clunker games, right? And I'm not saying the Ducks completely were outplayed and whatever. Like, Leo Carlsson continues a point streak here. Like, even though, this guy's now scored a point in 11 straight contests. This guy went toe-to-toe with Nathan MacKinnon, who had 3 assists tonight, and looked very, very good. So Uncle Leo does his job no matter what. To me, the Anaheim Ducks, well above where they should be this season. If this was years past, they would have lost 7-0.
Yeah.
To lose 4-1, or in my opinion, 3-1, because the empty netter was very late, and that you get what you get with empty netters. This is a good moral victory, something that you can watch on tape. It felt good to win 7 in a row. Now, a loss can always help you in the future. And with the Ducks, 2 more games on the road, and to me, winnable games, Detroit and Minnesota before that massive homestand that begins next week. Losing this could be nice for the future, because why not? You won 7. Why not win the last 2 on the road trip and go perfect at home? Let's go 1-up it and win now 8 in a row and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to look at it right there.
Yep.
And the Grill Master agrees over there on Instagram. He says it's
Yep.
time to get back on our feet against Detroit. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Now, Dom, let's get to the scoring. Give us how the Ducks scored tonight, their only goal. But like you said
Absolutely.
earlier, it was by a familiar face.
In this case scenario, when it comes to the Ducks, whenever you want to play the goal, who's going to score the first goal or just any goal in the game? Uncle Leo Carlsson is your best option. Like, he nets his 11th goal of the season. Trouba and Terry with the assists are your lone 3 Ducks that have a point in this game. Carlsson, just a nice little wrist shot, passes it by Wedgwood. It's beautiful. Again, I don't know how many more times on a podcast, on a postgame show with you, Todd, we're going to talk about Uncle Leo. It's going to be every night.
Yeah.
And if you're a Ducks fan that doesn't like that, get out. This guy is it's something special. And Colorado started the scoring 28 seconds into the game. Not the best start for Anaheim, but they chipped away in that first period and they kept themselves alive. Dostal put the team on his head, and he made some really good shots to lead to that Leo Carlsson goal. And you go into the break 1-1 tie. Best case scenario coming out of Colorado with that ruckusy crowd, They had a big, massive tribute for Veterans Day on the ice. So to get out of that 1-1, great. Gabriel Landeskog, another very tough Colorado Avalanche. He gets his first goal of the season in the second period, roughly about halfway through. So again, through about halfway point of this game, 2-1 after 2 periods. Still, if you told me that a month ago at the beginning of the year, hey, when you're 15 games into the year, 16 games into the year, it's 2-1 Colorado after 2, sign me up for that game any day of the week. It's competitive. Yeah. You're still moving in the right direction. Then, of course, Colorado nets their one and only power play goal of the game. That really kind of put the pendulum in their direction. The Ducks were in chase mode, basically throw the kitchen sink at Wedgwood, couldn't get anything to go. And then Colorado gets the empty netter at the end of the game with about 2.5 minutes left. That was the hockey game. 4-1 Colorado. Again, the goal from Carlson, assisted by Trouba and Terry near the end of the first period. And for Lukáš Dostal, 32 saves on 35 shots. Still a very good night. If there's anything to take away, another positive from this game, Dostal looked great. A .914 save percentage in this game. I think fantastic work from Lukáš Dostal. He helped the Ducks stay in this game as well.
Yeah, and anytime my boy Dominique says Uncle Leo, usually this is right behind it.
Yes, it is. Ducks have not been shut out yet this year. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, they continue to play good. Again, it's not that bad. Dimitro says, our third line needs a little bit more punch, in my opinion, and we'll need to get a better defenseman this year or a second pair. I don't want Gudas anymore, or he could be on the third pair. So we'll see.
Yeah, fair. I would say the one thing that depresses me about this game, it was on national TV on TNT. And
yeah, the one.
All the pomp and circumstance about this matchup and the Ducks and this would have been a really nice game to get a pity point, right?
Yeah.
Just to stay competitive. Now, again, we were on the football podcast, so I only saw the first period of this game and then was checking the updates throughout the last hour and a half, 2 hours. And I could already tell the first period, the broadcasters were just gushing and oozing over Colorado. So it was going to be one of those games, unfortunately. So that bums me out a little bit, but I'm going to guess if the Ducks continue to play at a high level, they'll probably get inserted in some more nationally televised games. Probably like Ducks versus Kings, Ducks versus Golden Knights. You'll get some good games in the future. But tonight is a real good night to appreciate what we have in Anaheim in terms of our broadcasters. I'm going to say that first and foremost.
Yeah, because, I would have loved for this to have been more of like a showing, because sometimes, that's the one thing they have copied the our Angels with is not showing up on nationally televised games. I would have loved for them to show up on this one, but it just did not work out, and we'll have to see how it goes moving forward. But Ducks did play good enough to get a win. They hung in there for 2.5 periods before they were able to exit stage left with a loss, unfortunately. But with that being said, we got to get to the 3 stars of the game, my friend. And who else to pick him than Dominator, because he's been on a roll.
So I do my best.
Yes, let's do the graphic while you think about who your 3 stars
for tonight's
game is. And the 3 stars is brought to you in part by 714 Tickets. If you do not have a ticket to a game, what are you doing? Don't go through all these other sites that have the crappiest hookups out there, the service charges, the fees. It's all about getting your 10% off. And you could be a Ducks fan, you could be a Kings fan, you could be an Avs fan. If you want to go to a hockey game and get a discount, use HITI, which stands for Halos in the Infield, and the Apply Now code, and get 10% off of your ticket, which is the price you see is the price you get. So unlike Ticketmaster, it says $56 for a good seat, and you wind up paying $89 in the checkout. Nope. $56 is what you see, what you get on 714tickets.com. And then that 10% knocks it down even more for you. So that's our little hookup for you, the fan. So check them out and put Heedy in that Apply Now code. So with that being said, 3 stars of the game, Dom.
Here we go. It's going to be a little different tonight because the Ducks lose 4-1 to Colorado. However, your 3rd star of the night, I'm going to give it to the Colorado Avalanche's Nathan MacKinnon. He had 3 assists on the night, 3 points. He and Leo Carlsson are neck and neck right now at the top of the NHL in points this season. Again, for the new hockey fans, points, goals, and assists combined, that's your point total. So Nathan MacKinnon, a very nice game. Once again, one of the studs, if not I'm definitely going to say Nate MacKinnon, probably a top 5 player in the NHL right now, and he's been like that consistently. He gets my 3rd star of the game. Number 2 star of the game, it's going to be Leo Carlsson. Leo Carlsson nets the lone goal of the night for the Ducks. He extends his point streak to 11 games. He's had a phenomenal season. Uncle Leo just gets it done. And he's one of those players that just knows how to finesse and be so smooth on the ice. And now he has 11 of these. He's been so lock solid from top to bottom. So Leo Carlsson gets the 2nd star of the night. And number 1, anybody at this point that can limit this Ducks offense to just 1 goal a night, tip the cap to the Colorado Avalanche's the netminder, Scott Wedgwood. 1 goal on 36 shots, had a save percentage of .972. You just sometimes you got to hang your hat to an opposing goaltender who just does his job and does it very, very well. So give Scott Wedgwood the number 1 star of the night. If I did have an honorable mention, I'm going to say Lukas Dolstall, who had 32 saves in 35 shots against. He played very well and kept the Ducks in this game for quite a while. And, the Ducks have been down 3-1 before, and they've come back to win games. So still more than halfway through the 3rd period after Colorado made it a 3-1 game, Ducks continue to press. They did not take their foot off the gas pedal. They did not quit against this Colorado team, which is something that has been a problem for the Ducks in years past. So, again, great work, good effort for the Ducks. So I'll give Dostal an honorable mention here tonight.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what you said, with the number 1 star being Wedgwood tonight, there was a couple late rushes there on the empty net where the Ducks could have easily knocked one in, and they got enough traffic in front of Wedgwood to make it very uncomfortable. And I don't know how he stopped a couple of those pucks from getting in off the ricochet. So the rebounds went in, and some nights you're just going to get that. There was a couple unfortunate rebounds that went the Abs way. And then there was none that really went the Ducks' way. They had some traffic and some pucks played off of Wedgwood up high and down low, but he was able to either get his leg on it to smother it or his glove and poke the puck away with his stick. So great night. And to feed up another point, in baseball, you ride the hot pitcher. If the pitcher's on fire, the team usually plays by him, and he could win a 1-0 game. And that's what this one felt like tonight. Wedgwood was definitely hot under the pike tonight.
And if you look deeper into the box score for the Anaheim Ducks tonight, I like what I see. If we look at we talked about Dostal. If you're looking at the defensemen, once again, another night where the Ducks get double-digit shots on goal from their defensemen. You had Hellison with 1, Lacombe with 4, Zellweger with 1, Trouba, who's played an exceptional brand of hockey of late, got the lone 1 of the 2 assists in this game. He and Terry assisted on the Carlson goal, had 3 shots on goal, Moore with 1, and Minchikov with 2 shots on goal. So overall, 12 shots out of the 36, a third of the Ducks' shots, once again, coming from their D linemen. So again, it's been tough at times. I do think the Ducks need to upgrade at defense just a little bit to really shore up that blue line. But to have Moore come up for Gudas being out, and he's played rather well, I'll take that as a win all day long. Forward speaking, Carlson, I know it a broken record, led the team 6 shots on goal. Cutter Gauthier, 5 shots on goal. Troy Terry, your boy, an assist and 4 shots on goal. This team takes their chances. They're not being pretty with the puck and trying to get the best shot possible. There's going to be nights you're going to have to throw everything at the netminder. And again, some nights it works. Hello, Ducks have scored 7 or more goals. How many nights this year so far? And sometimes they're doing it against other teams' number 1 goaltenders. So like Dallas, for example, they got 7 off the Dallas number 1 netminder. So there is opportunity for that throughout the season for the Anaheim Ducks. Again, you ran into a brick wall tonight in Wedgwood. I'm a little surprised. Wedgwood's their number 2 guy. So for Wedgwood, if I'm Colorado right now, you're saying, holy Moses. It was almost like how we felt about Peter Mrazek in Vegas, right? That's how I would feel at this point, because you're like, I don't know if we're going to get what we get out of this guy. And he ends up shutting down the one of the best teams in hockey, if not, the second best team in hockey, who normally is averaging close to 5 goals a game and limits them to just 1.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty good. So again, it's one of those nights. I am not torn up about this one much. Lot to learn in this game. There was plenty of bright spots. And I think you can take what you learn in this game, and especially going into Thursday's game on the road in a tough building against Detroit. I'm going to take a guess the Ducks will see John Gibson again. Not 100% positive, but you want to do everything you possibly can Thursday to basically flip the script and win a game like this, or go back to your roots and knock out Detroit like 7-1. Because if you can hang with Colorado and Dallas and Winnipeg and Vegas, and the Ducks to me are a playoff team. They're showing it early on so far here through what 16 games now.
Mm-hmm. So you'd like for them to have a good showing against Detroit, and maybe Mrazek gets the start. Who knows? On Thursday,
Mrazek going back into his old building. You saw Gibson coming to our building. I would say, fair assessment. If Mrazek goes in, he played very well against Vegas. So Mrazek against Detroit. Then you have Dostal on Saturday against Minnesota, a day off in between, and then you kind of go from there. Again, the Ducks will have a back-to-back next week, Wednesday at home against Boston, Thursday at home against Ottawa. But it is a massive homestand. So, again, I trust Joe Quenneville. He'll figure out whatever the combination may be. Yeah, why not? Put Mrazek at home. He's riding high. If you want to do that, great. If you want to roll with the hot hand and keep Dostal and put Mrazek in, I don't want to say easier situation. This is pro sports. Nothing's easy. But in a different kind of matchup on paper against Minnesota, sure, I'm okay with it. As long as the Ducks offense gets rolling, and I'm pretty sure right now they're realizing in the locker room, leaving the building in Colorado, we played all right. Like, there's plenty to learn from this game. Yeah. We want, would every team love to go 82-0 in a season? Absolutely. But this is, these are the battles. These are not the wars. And I think the Ducks are going to be A-okay. Like, they play Colorado 3 times in the season. We don't play Colorado again until January 21st in Colorado, and then March 3rd for the one time Colorado comes to Honda Center. So between now and January 21st, 2 months are going to go by. It's going to look like a very, very different complexion of a season for both teams, regardless if it's good or bad or anything in between.
Yeah, definitely. So, man, again, not bad loss again, and there's a lot to learn from this one. Obviously, as a young team, but unfortunately, you need to have games like this to where you can kind of take a step back, because you don't want things to look too easy or feel it's easy, because then you'll take your foot off the pedal a little bit.
Yep.
And so right now, again, tough loss in general, but it's not a bad loss. And they'll turn things around, I think, in Detroit, like you said. And we're looking forward to that homestand coming up after they clear these last 2 games on the road trip.
Yep. And what's crazy is, looking as we wrap it up here tonight on a little bit of a quicker post-game show, California is leading the charge in the Pacific Division tonight. I didn't think I'd see this. Anaheim Ducks, 23 points, first place. Kings won tonight. They move into second with 20 points. And out of freaking nowhere, San Jose, a team who should be, no pun intended, a bottom feeder, is at 19 points in third place in the Pacific. If the playoffs ended today, Ducks, Kings, Sharks locked into the postseason. Vegas is the number 2 wild card slot. The Ducks, I'm looking how the playoffs would wind out. The Ducks would be playing Chicago in the first round if it ended right now. So, it's too early. I know it's, we're 16 games into this thing, but I don't think anybody on the bingo card of this year's NHL season, at any point of the season, even the first night of the season, had the Ducks, Kings, and Sharks the 1, 2, 3, regardless of the order in the Pacific Division.
Well, not only that, I think someone commented on the last post-game show where they said it's nice to see the Blackhawks, Sharks, and Ducks, perennial teams that have been out of the playoffs, back in it, or at least doing good. So it would be amazing if those three teams made the postseason this year. You know, that would shake up the Pacific as we know it, or at least the Western Conference, knowing the way that those three teams have been out of the postseason the last few years. So
yeah, and it's been actually looking at it from both sides of the perspective, East Coast and West Conference. It's been very competitive in hockey this year. Like the worst team in hockey is the Calgary Flames, who just have 10 points. But you do have perennial, I don't want to say, somewhat perennial playoff teams near the bottom of the league. You have Florida with only 17 points, Toronto with 17 points, Vancouver 17 points, the Capitals at 17 points. Edmonton has fallen off a little bit. They are 4-3-3 in their last 10 games. So basically playing 500 hockey at 18 points. Rangers in the middle of the hockey league. Detroit in the middle of the hockey league. Like, you have some teams that have been bottom feeders that are bouncing back. Ottawa in 11th place in the league. And the Ducks, even after tonight, still are they're currently in a three-way tie with the Devils and the Stars, two teams they've already beat this year, for second place in the entire National Hockey League. Again, 16 games in the year. Sign me up. I am not complaining one bit.
Absolutely. Especially with the hockey that we've seen the last few years prior to this. So
yes, indeed.
Oh, all right, man. So an eventful night, but we'll be back here on Thursday in some capacity, whether it's me or just Dom or both of us together. We'll be here covering your Ducks as we continue the road trip, and hopefully the Ducks can get that W in Detroit. But yes, but
we've turned so French here at this show. But hey, the Ducks, the overall goal, the bare minimum that I said early a week and a half ago, in the month of November, if the Ducks can get 8 wins, anything over that is gravy. So far, 4-1. We're halfway home, baby, and we still got more than 2/3 of the month left to go. Plenty of Ducks hockey. This team is still absolutely fun. Fans, do not get discouraged after tonight's game. Do not. This team is still really, really good, and I trust Joe Quenneville to ride the ship in the right direction. We're only 16 games in. We got a long season and a big homestand coming up. Go to Detroit, go to Detroit, and take care of business and slap some squid ass.
There you go. So with that being said, for Todd Fox and Dominique, the legend from Catella Chronicles, do we have a catchphrase at the end?
I don't know. I think Ducks fly together. That's always that's always the easiest one of all time. Ducks fly together. We love you guys. And again, Leo Carlson. MVP.